What sound? So hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. If you're having a hard time teaching your toddler, you're having a hard time keeping their attention or getting them interested in learning what you think they should be learning at this young age, this video is for you, okay? I'm Diamond. If you're new, I'm a homeschooling mom to a 7'5" and 2, almost 3-year-old. And today I'm going to show you some things that has worked for my son. So, as I said, I have 3 children. And my first 2 are girls. So if you know anything about teaching girls and boys, it's totally different. And I've had a wake-up call trying to teach my son, trying to keep him engaged, because my girls, they learn the same way, somewhat the same way. But with him, I've had to incorporate some new things. So today I'm just going to share what's been working for us. Okay, I may even get him to come sit in the video and show you some things that I'm talking about. But if not, I have a list on my phone that I've compiled that has been working for us. And yeah, we're just gonna get started. The first thing I have on my list is incorporating reading time. So reading time is so beneficial, not only for just building vocabulary, but also for getting them familiar with books and developing a love for books. Because once you get them in a routine of always reading a book to them, or having them turn the pages of the books or whatever the case may be, they're gonna always be interested in wanting you to read to them, especially if they come from a family of readers, right? So my oldest 2 girls, they read all the time, and my son, he'll just go grab a book and tell me to read it to him or whatever the case may be. And sometimes I am caught reading a book as well as my husband, so it's like, it's very, very important. But that's the first thing I have. Reading time is important. Teach them vocabulary, ask them different questions about the book. You don't even have to read word for word. See what they can remember. They often remember some of the repetitive, some of the rhyming words and things of that nature. But that's my top tip, is to incorporate reading time. All right. Tip number 2 is to include sensory bands or any type of sensory activities. There could be sensory bands, it could be Play-Doh, it could be the kinetic sand, it could be the rice. I did go out and get this from our sensory band. It's just regular rice with some what are these called? Some little scoopers. I'm gonna have some tweezers in there when we put like animal figurines and stuff like that. But let me just say, like, my son was so resistant to doing the letter puzzle. Let me see. This letter puzzle, he was so resistant to doing it because I don't know if it was boring to him, but once I taught them letters in this sensory band, oh, it was a daily thing. So it's like sometimes I present things in a different way to get boys, well, at least my son, involved. So also with the Play-Doh, the calming thing for them, there are different like Play-Doh stamps and things of that nature, where you can incorporate different activities. Of course, toddlers don't like worksheets or anything like that. So for letter identification, for like letter formation, it could be colors, it could be anything. They could, shake the Play-Doh, they can roll it, they can start cutting it. If you want them to have cutting practice, like, it's so many ways to use it, but sensory, anything sensory is a go, okay? It's a go. Let me see if I can find these letters. Number 3 on my list is to incorporate water play or just do learning during bath time. So I know I've seen this from a few moms on Instagram before I had my son. I just saw how they used to always incorporate learning time in the bath time. And I was like, that is a great idea. I noticed early on that my son really enjoys playing with water, pouring, just turning the water on while I'm in the kitchen and stuff like that. And I was like, you know what? If he's fighting the learning activities that I'm trying to do throughout the day, I'm going to bring it to the bathtub. And so I purchased some of the foam letters and numbers. I also have some of these. Let's see if I can find them. Some of these little different colored fish. I think I've shared it in another video. But basically, these are the fish that I put in the tub with him. We use it for color identification. We use it for counting. I'll say, hey, count how many orange fish you have, or count how many green fish you have. Pass me number 1, or number 1 is orange. Number 1 is, I think number 1 is actually yellow, but you get the gist, right? So bath time or water play is a really excellent way to get in the learning time to your toddler. It doesn't take a long time to get things across to them. So the shorter the lessons, the better. I should have started off with that, but my son really enjoys bath time. He loves playing his numbers. He loves just doing things outside of just sitting there, you know, taking a bath. He's fully engaged. He looks forward to it every bath time. So that has been a staple, as well as using my kitchen sink. When I'm cooking or something, I'll let him run the water, or I like put the stopper in there, put a small level of water in there, and then add things that I want him to play with or things that I want him to show me. Like, you are supervising him, you're literally right there, so it's like, you know, it's not an issue. But I would say cater to the things that you really see them gravitate towards. My son loves water, so I'm like, if I'm trying to get him to learn something, put it in water. It's going to seem like play. It's going to seem like fun. It's not going to be overwhelming. So that's our thing. Do you love playing with water? You do. Okay, next on my list is incorporating movement. This includes gross motor, and like gross motor, that includes them going outside, climbing, jumping, running, swinging, riding a bike, riding a scooter, at the park, you know, climbing, anything that you got, anything that you have. You want a scooter? Okay, anything you have access to get them moving. It could be you telling them to go grab something, you tell them to try to kick something or throw something. Like, that's very important. And oftentimes when you associate movement with certain things, they remember it better. So say for instance with our letter sounds, so I've started to incorporate little movements that I've created myself. Little movements that I've created myself for him to remember the letter sounds. So I'm gonna see if he's gonna do it now. May not, but okay. Can you come here for a minute?
I can.
Come here. All right, you gotta stand up for me. All right. So T says, what sound to make? T says t, t, t. T says t, t, t. All right. Now what does? You're not done yet. What does S say? What does S say? What sound does it make? What sound? So we're moving like a snake. With this, the T says t, t, t. It's just something I came up with because T is this formation. Yeah, we have different little movements for sounds that he's learned. So A says, like say for instance for A says ah, ah, ah. A says I try to incorporate movement so that it's fun for him, and also like for the M says like rubbing your belly, like something that's good. But just incorporate some of those movements. I think you can find like actual movements to these sounds online, but I just came with whatever I felt like he could do and something fun that he would remember. You know, S, we try to move like a snake. T, we're making a T. So yeah, incorporate movements or having them run to go get something, you know, maybe jump to this color, whatever the case may be. They really love that. Okay, next is to incorporate outside time, nature walks, just getting fresh air, walking at the park. They're listening to the cars. We have fire trucks always passing by, the ambulances, tractors. T says so getting outside is amazing. They're always fully observant of what's going on, looking at the clouds, looking at the birds, listen to whatever, seeing the bees, seeing the flowers. So it's a really great environment to teach them in. Like naturally, they're naturally curious on what is that, and you could say, hey, go point to the yellow this or the green that, or what sound do the dogs make, or what sound do the cats make. So outside is really a great time for the fresh air, but also it's a great learning environment. That's I sit down, be quiet, listen to me. It's explore as you want to, do the things that you really want to do, and yeah, we'll test it somehow later. Next on my list I have is including his interests. Okay, so that could be pretend play, or it could be buying toys that you know. Okay, go ahead. Incorporating their interests. Okay, so for my son, he's interested in fire trucks and motorcycles, all these vehicles. And so I was like, you know what, he's giving me a hard time on like learning the letters, learning the number symbols. So I was like, let's see if I can get him counting and identifying the numbers if I make him some little flashcards. So this is what I did. I went and found some little graphics, and I made some little posters. I would say posters. All right, so on the first one I have tractor, so for number 1, and I'll have him count these. So once he come back in here, I have him count them. For 2, I have little dump trucks. 3, his favorite excavator. 4, I put some traffic lights. I'll probably change this one. And then for 5, I have, wait, this is the dump truck as well. So these are things that he really enjoys talking about. He loves to read books about these things almost daily. So I was like, this is something he'll definitely want to count. And when I showed it to him when I first made these, he was just ecstatic. Like he was smiling from ear to ear, and it was everything. So I'm gonna see if he'll do it right now. Let's see, okay? He's very good at one-on-one correspondence too. All right. Can we count this?
2, 3, 5, 6.
Let's do it right. Can we do it right? Okay, let's do it right. Count.
There's a people in there.
Huh?
It's a people in there.
No people are in there. Can you count it for me though?
Why is that thinking like that?
I don't know. Can you count it for me? I didn't hear you.
1, 2, 3.
Good job. Can you point to number 3? And also he loves to like trace over the letters or numbers when he's counting. So like for 3, he was like trying to trace it. So we're gonna start some sensory writing activities pretty soon. All right, let's try this one. Can you count this for me? Let's start. No, let's start.
8, 9.
Let's count it right. No, we start with 1.
2, 1,
1.
2, 3, 3, 4, 5.
Good job. Can you trace or point to number 5? Good job. Good job. So that's just something that I printed off for him because I knew it would get his attention. I knew it would be a better way to try to teach him something that's not as fun as exciting. But like he's really good at counting individual objects. But I'm trying to get him to, you know, pair that with the actual number symbol so he can identify the number. No rush at all, but I know incorporating his interests was going to get him including that, interested in that. So next on my list I have including them in daily activities. That includes conversations, shopping, cooking, cleaning, etc. Whatever you want to include them in. Including them in things you do already is going to naturally, you know, make them gravitate towards what you're doing. So when you're cleaning, they're going to want to get a room and sweep. You know, when you're talking, you can ask different questions. Like at the end of the day, I'll say, how was your day? Or what did you eat today? What did you eat today?
Peanut butter jelly.
Peanut butter jelly, okay.
And some cookies.
Cookies.
Yeah.
What else?
And some gummies.
Gummies.
Yeah.
Fruit gummies.
Yeah.
And what else?
Watermelon.
Watermelon. And what else?
Some cookies.
You said cookies already. What do we get from Publix?
Just the Aldi.
You got the cookies from Aldi?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, so as you can see, he can retell what he ate today, okay? And he's very good at telling what people do and what they shouldn't do as well. So ask them questions. They'll give you the answer that you need, all right? So that's something I do. He likes to shop with me, grocery shop. Like I'll tell him go pick out something, or, you know, what are we coming to the store for? I kind of ask him that. Phone just died. Hey, can you go get my phone charger? Just talking with them, and then I think the last thing I had on my list, it was something simple. I had to wait till my phone charger, but as you can see, I feel like the more hands-on and short the lessons are, the better they grasp it. And it's like sometimes you can see, you know, children on the internet that are sitting down, that are writing, that are, you know, doing the thing, and you're feeling like you're behind. But I'm just saying every child is different, and I've learned from just being around a lot of, you know, boys that they require a lot of movement. They require a lot of movement when they're learning, especially when they're, you know, this young. He's about to be 3, right? You want me to open it? Okay, he's about to be 3. So it's like he wants to move. He loves the color. He loves to paint. Color, paint, he loves art. Those are some things that he loves. So I didn't want to make this video too long. I just wanted to touch the bases on the things that's actually working for us. I don't have a strict schedule. I have an environment full of like toys and things that he like. I have things out for him to use markers or color or draw, cut. He loves to cut with scissors. I did find this little workbook from Ollie's maybe a few weeks ago. And so he hasn't started on this yet because sometimes he don't really want to color when you want him to color. But this little workbook is very simple. It's like the uppercase, lowercase, and then like 2 things that starts with that letter. Oh, one more thing I want to share. And then the next page is like coloring about that letter. And yeah. So I'll link it. It's very simple. 2 pages per letter. The first page is the actual letter. The second page is a coloring related or tracing related activity. So I'll link this workbook. It's very, very simple and light. He's not 3 yet, so I'm like, when he's ready, we'll get started. We'll get started, no rush, but it was only $2, so I grabbed it. I think it's probably around $8 on Amazon. Something we also have been doing is playing around with phonemic awareness, right? So although he's just learning the letter sounds, I'm really training his ear early to decipher between sounds, like the beginning sound. So say for instance, hey, T says t, t, t. All right, so I want you to tell me which word starts with a T. Is it monkey or is it turtle? Which one starts with a t, t? Monkey or turtle?
Turtle.
Good job. So we say S says S. What word starts with S? Scissors or balloon? Scissors. Good job. Okay, let's scissors. Good job. It starts with what sound?
Scissors.
All right, so now that I've shared things that's working for us, I'm going to tell you what didn't work for us so far, okay? So I have the learning binder. This is something that I've offered as a physical copy in the past, and my girls really enjoyed it, but my son, not so much. These are the Velcro pages, and I have a whole video on what's included. He plays with this, but it's not the way that I would like him to. So we'll just be creative, and sometimes we'll take a page out, go try to match it to like the play food or real food or whatever case may be, but that has not been his thing, okay? The next thing is trying to include too many things in a sensory bin. So I used to do all the cute setups for my daughters. I used to put different things in there, try to put numbers as well as like little animals or whatever case may be. He likes one thing and a sensory base. So rice and letters. You know,
I want to pull
sand and just animals.
I want to play for water.
You want to play with water?
And the water and the pit water and the rice.
You want to put water in the rice?
Yeah.
No, we can't do that.
Why?
Because it's going to get soggy and it may get moldy.
Moldy?
Yeah. All right. So yeah, I did have some rice in here though. You know what your letters are?
Yeah.
What are your letters?
I think.
All right. So try to include too many things in the sensory bin. I learned that simple is better. Because if I put too much trying to, you know, make it cute, then add what I want him to actually learn, like he's not gonna want to do it. So I just keep it simple. He loves the pour as is. He don't have to have anything in there. It's just the, you know, the sensory seeking. Also, something that didn't work was getting him to sit down for certain puzzles he was not interested in. So I already mentioned the ABC puzzle. I had this number puzzle I was using. It didn't work. I had to do it in a different way. So he does do puzzles. He really enjoys puzzles now, but it's like I have to do it in a different way. I can't just expect him to sit down and be quiet and work on that puzzle. He has to be up. You know, I have to have pieces over here, pieces over there. So those are the things that are working for us so far. If you found this video helpful, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Drop the comments in the comment section if you have any questions or want to see anything else. I'll see you guys in my next video.